Welcome back to my channel. I hope the mic is on. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. This is your man, ChukwumaijemNwosu, the solutionist. And today's topic, you're looking at it, is it's kind of different, right? I've been waiting to tell this story. Like it's something that I never found very interesting to say to anybody. I just thought it was something personal. Something happened, something that happened between two grown men and that I was just supposed to step up and just move on, you know. So before I start this stream, ooh, before I start this stream, or before I start this monologue, I must mention that I know one billionaire personally. One billionaire I know personally. I know about, mm, I want to say about 6 millionaires, you know, 6 millionaires, and about three of them might be multimillionaires, you know. So basically, seven multimillionaires in total. So one of them billionaires. Okay, so um, before I start the stream, I must mention for you guys that are interested in basically content that helps strengthen your mindset and just teach you how to be basically a different kind of guy. Basically, the kind of guy that goes out in the world and just conquers, right? So if you want to be that kind of guy, the guy that makes his own way, the guy that kills what he eats, the guy that is not afraid to bring in $1,500 one month and then the next month 15,000. If you're not afraid to be that kind of guy, and you need the kind of mindset that it takes, the American mindset, the mindset that built this country, the mindset of self-enterprise. Check out my other channel. It's called ChukwumaijemNwosu, right? The business class. That's where I show young men. I share my experience. This is for young men 37 and down, but you're welcome to check it out if you're older because you might learn something that you're not expecting to learn. Okay? So with that said, let's start the story for today. So I got how a multimillionaire scammed me out of $50,000. Well, it's very simple. I had a multimillionaire. Uh, I want to say it's a friend in my life, and at some point, we became very close. Right? I became very close to this multimillionaire, and I couldn't tell his finances at first. I only knew he was a multimillionaire later on. I know at first he was making a lot of money, but I didn't know, what level he was making. What his tax bracket was. I knew it was over 100,000. At some point, I even got a clue it was over 200,000. Eventually, I knew it was over 300,000. Of course, at some point, I knew he was past the $500,000 mark, right? But still, I didn't know where he was in the, basically in the pyramid, the food chain, the pyramid of food chain, right? So, so our relationship kept evolving. Um, he kept sending contracting works my way. I kept executing those contract works, and it got to a point. He asked me, "Hey, um, I'm gonna quit my job." I think he mentioned. I think that was how it started. And then he quit his job. He had a day job, but he had a side hustle that was making, I don't know, three, four, five times what he made his day job. And I believe his day job was a six-figure job. You know. So at this point, I was working for him with the job I was with the contracting work I was doing for him and every other thing I was doing. Yeah, I think I was easily at six figures to a little bit over. So it wasn't anything. So eventually he was interested in what I was doing, which was the car business, figuring out stuff about auctions, buying cars, doing this and that. And we talked about it extensively. I told him how I could help, or I told her how I could help. And eventually, I believe the person said person looked into the whole business and decided, oh, you know what? I'd rather just invest in you. I don't want to deal with this headache. They went to an auction a couple of times and they just found out that it's just too hectic for them. It was something that they didn't want to dabble in, that they rather do something different. So at that point, I was like, yeah, sure, no, I have no problem with that, right? So basically, we ran through the numbers, and he asked me, hey, if I give you X amount of dollars, how much can you give me in return? So I believe at that point, we came up with an agreement. I think yes, I remember we came up to an agreement, and I told him, for every $5,000, I believe, I told him I basically could guarantee something in excess of about, if I remember appropriately, something in excess of, I want to say 1,500. Sorry, I want to say 750. Somewhere between 500 and 750 for every. I think that's how it went. For every $10,000, I told the person I could guarantee about, I want to say 750, somewhere between 750 and $1,000. That was what I could guarantee every month. So said person thought about it and told me that they would get back to me. And then they got back to me and told me, okay, cool, let's do it, right? So they gave me X amount of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, right? So I proceeded to, incorporate that money into what I was doing at that point. And just as promised, every month, said person got, what was due to them, X amount of dollars. And everything was sweet and dandy for months, because business was good. Cars were selling, body body shop services were needed, mechanic shop service were needed. So many things were going great, right? So, so eventually, the pandemic came. So at the time the pandemic came around, we had done so much business. I believe said person has received in excess of, I want to say, in excess of, remember, they invested tens of thousands of dollars. Said person has received tens of thousands of dollars already in profit. So I believe the agreement was that after 10 months, or I believe, or 12 months, they could recoup, or basically, I'm supposed to repatriate their investment. So that was agreed upon. And when the pandemic hit, we already exceeded the amount of months that was agreed upon. But said person said, let's keep this going. I'm liking what's happening. So the pandemic hit, and said person gave me a deadline and said, hey, I think I'm going to pull out. And I believe at that point, said person found, more lucrative financial obligation or investments and needed to pull out their funds. My belief or my train of thought was that they really didn't need that money, but you never know. Yeah, people are not what you think they are, or whatever you think in your head is not what's going on with people. So I would like to take the blame here. So maybe I overestimated what he got going on and stuff like that. So said person said, yeah, I would like to pull out. So eventually, slowly and gradually, like a big ship, if you know anything about investments, you just don't yank everything out right away because everything will crumble. So I give said person a schedule, a timetable when said investments could be repatriated back to them. And I did my best to keep to my schedule. I was, to be honest, it was a little bit late, but I kept my promise. They got every penny. So at the end of the day, said person wasn't very happy about the slight delay. But all in all, they were still happy that they got their banana bread back. And we continued dealing and willing. We stayed in close contact. He got bigger with alternate investments. He was married. Like the statistics say, married couples do better. It's a fact. That's a true. I've seen it happen. So, because when people are married, they tend to pool their resources together. So, said person went on, I believe, and eventually, I believe they got a divorce, right? And after their divorce, they had remarried. And then fast forward to later on, right? So said person decided to liquidate some of their assets, and they called on me and gave me, a sweet deal to help liquidate their assets. I did my best to liquidate as much as I could. Some of the assets were very difficult to liquidate, but you know, we did our best. I did my best to liquidate as much as I could. Eventually, after assets were liquidated, other alternate investments were made. Said person asked me if I was interested in the same deal that we had way back when. And I said to the said person, yes, I am interested in something similar to that because it was lucrative for me. Because if said person was making tens of thousands of dollars, right? Can you imagine how much I was making? So said person asked if I was interested. I agreed. I told him yes, I was interested. But this time around, could we up the ante? Can we up the stakes? Because at this time I was trying to go bigger and not just go bigger. I was trying to make my staple at the top permanent, or my staple at the biggest stakes permanent and stay there. So said person asked me what kind of numbers was I thinking. So I was telling said person double the previous engagement, plus a 10. So said person thought about it and asked me if I had a collateral to back up, you know, said investment if things went south. And I agreed. I said, yes, I do have collateral. And indeed, I did have collateral. I had a bunch of collateral. Okay. So um, at that point, I had a couple of Range Rovers. I still have some Range Rovers. Said person, that person wanted two cars that was equivalent to the set amount, right? So double the stakes last time plus a 10. And I agreed, right? So said person asked for the um, the title. If I had possession of the title for the collateral, and I said yes, I had possession of that title and the collateral. And at this point, said person asked me if I knew how to trade stocks, and I told him yes. That as a matter of fact, that I was getting proficient at trading stocks. At that point, I was getting proficient at trading stocks because there were some predictable markets out there in the investment field that you could put some money in and you could times two and times three and stuff like that in a week. So if you picked right and you got in at the right time and got off at the right time, yes. So at that point we agreed, and said person said, "Oh, I have a stock account that I would let you trade, but I just need you. I feel like you would make more money doing this investment." And I said, okay, I don't have a problem with trading stocks. Okay. They asked for collateral. I had the collateral. I had more collateral than I was asked for. And the said person said, well, I'm going to give you the password to the stock account. Right. And eventually, said person gave me, after we agreed on stocks, said person gave me a login or access to a Forex account. We agreed on trading stocks. Said person gave me access to a Forex account. I don't know nothing about Forex. Okay. But me being the kind of person I was, I am an avid learner. I said to said person, well, I said that I was like, stocks was something that I understood at a mediocre level or at least an amateur level. But you're giving me Forex. But I will make this clear. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to learn something about these stocks, right? So said person said, okay. They proceeded to give me the password. Upon logging in, there was $50,000 in the stock in the Forex account. But what I didn't know at that point, unbeknownst to me, was that the stock account was a fake account. It was one of those dummy currency Forex account where you practice how to trade Forex in preparation for the use of real money in the real world of Forex. So eventually, what happened was that said person assumed that I believe that that was real money. At the point, at the earlier stages, I thought that was real money. Okay. So said person said to me, well, I'm going to take the collateral for in exchange to allow you to trade $50,000 in my Forex account, right? So at that point, I, he was assuming that the agreement was, or basically, the agreement was binding on the phony or the dummy Forex account, which I didn't know at that time. Okay. But eventually, if you know anything about Forex account and you look at the screen, when you're trading, when you're trading a dummy Forex account, it's going to tell you, do you want to join or do you want to log in and open a real Forex account? A real Forex account would not ask you if you would like to open a real Forex account or join. So I kept noticing that there. And said person had access to the Forex account and they would log in and monitor what I had going on. At first, I was doing okay. I wasn't greedy. I was making a couple of hundreds. I lost some money, made some money back. You know anything about Forex, it's very easy to lose and make money back. So eventually, I lost a lot of money. And then eventually, I kind of started figuring out certain trends. And this was when the US Russia oil war was about to hit, right? So if you know anything that happened during that period, the United States dollar shot up. So if you were betting against the United States dollar, you lost a lot of money. So at first, I was betting against the United States dollar. I was losing a lot of money, and eventually, I started betting. I was started betting against every other currency. The best betting against the Japanese yen. My favorite thing to trade was United States dollar against Japanese yen. Eventually, I started betting against the Japanese yen, and I started doing well. At that point, he started noticing some of the trends. He was asking me questions, but said person never taught me anything really. The goal was to teach me, but I never got any kind of teaching. It was just questions. Oh, do this different. Think about it this way. Think about it that way. But no proper knowledge. It was almost like someone trying to always lord over you or show you that they're smarter than you. It was never game or real knowledge. It was kind of pointing you in the right direction, but still leaving you to think about it, right? So I did some research, but if you know anything about Forex, there's nothing really concrete that could tell you. You could get some predictions, but predictions can be very wrong often at times. So because of that, sometimes you got the predictions right, you made some money, and then when the predictions were wrong, you lost the money that you had made up. So eventually, um, this kept going on, and eventually, I opened a real Forex account because I started suspect. I then at some point I was fully aware that the Forex account I was trading was a dummy Forex account. So I went and opened a real Forex account, right? At which point I realized that that was for sure a fake Forex account with $50,000 in it. So I opened another dummy Forex account that gave me my own 50,000, dummy $50,000, which I saw the same thing on there asking you to join and open a real Forex account. And then I went into my real Forex account where I put, I think, about $1,000, and I saw that that sign wasn't there. And then I saw I was trading real money. I had the ability to transfer it from my bank account into the Forex account and out of the Forex account. I had all these multifaceted applications and abilities in the real Forex account, which clarified everything to me that said person was playing me and making me believe that I was trading a real Forex account and making me believe that whatever money I was losing in that 50,000 dummy Forex account was how much of the money that he was supposed to loan to me, right? That I was losing, right? So fast forward, at the end of the day, when I thought that everything was all like was said and done and that things was gonna go the Japanese yen's way, I bet wrong. Everything went the dollar's way. Lost about $34,000 in the dummy Forex account. I made some money in my account. Lost some money, made some money, and after a while, Forex was just too boring for me. I abandoned it. But Forex is something that you should look into if you're watching this broadcast right now. This stream. So eventually, said person, so the dummy account, you have 90 days. So said person gave me enough time that I had to trade, but planned it enough that he was able to take over the account from me before the 90 days was over so that I could not observe or notice what was going on. You see the game? So before the 90 days was up, said person came back and took control of the account. So by the time said person took control of the account was I think about $16,000, has lost about $34,000. So said person told me, bring me the titles to the vehicle. And if you know anything about collaterals, you give the titles to said person, but you don't give the cars to them. So said person told me to bring the cars. At which point I made it clear to said person that I'm going to give you the title, but I don't understand why you're asking for the car, because I already made it known to you that I understand that this account is a dummy account. This is not a real account. I don't know what kind of games you're up to, but this was someone I basically trusted blindly, right? So they say you're supposed to trust people till they give you a reason not to. So I trusted said person because you just believe these people are rich or this person's a millionaire, that he's good for it or whatever, or that they would never do anything sinister. Wrong. Whatever business you're doing with people, especially millionaires or people that have more money than you, get everything in writing. If you think it's fishy, it is fishy. Don't play that game. Keep possession of your stuff. Don't give in, right? Question things. As a matter of fact, I will say this: the richer the person, the more you should question the things, the bonehead moves they're asking you to make that is new to you that you don't know nothing about. So at the end of the day, out of trust, based on trust, handed over Range Rover, handed over another truck, equivalent of about the amount basically lost. The goal was to cover the $50,000, but I didn't lose all $50,000. So we ended up evening it out at $34,000. But the collateral was supposed to activate the loan, the cash loan that said person was supposed to give to me. But instead of giving me said loan, said person hung on to the title, hung on to the car, and I believe quickly registered them and played, the game raw. So upon finding out everything, said person told me that they have this game they play with some of their friends, that they mirror their trade with other people, and that they use so account. I went and I registered for all those accounts, and there was no such thing. There was no way for someone to mirror your trade on a dummy account, right? I mean, they could record, you could screen record, but you cannot mirror somebody's trade per se. So I did everything they explained and tried, but at the end of the day, I had a 100% mindset. I came to the conclusion that if it was really important to this guy, if it was really important to this girl to go this far, to stoop this low, to take something I worked this hard for, using corny tactics, using, you know, these, you know, basically fraudulent semantics to play, all these games just to rob me of my possession. I came to the conclusion, you know what? They deserve to keep those things. It wasn't worth it. All kinds of things went over my head, devilish things I could have done to them. But at the end of the day, I came to the conclusion I'm 100% man. I got those things and I could get it again, right? Especially when I try to reason with him and get him to understand that I know what's going on. Hey, look, I know what you're doing. There's no such thing. This is not real. You're playing me for a fool. And I'm your fool because I just believed in you and I believe that there's zero chance or zero room that you would do such a thing to me. That was my belief. And said person took advantage of me. And it's so sad that said person did their ancestry and they're actually from the same place that I am. They have Nigerian in their blood. So don't look far away from home. The people that will do you worse are people that have the same blood in their veins flowing in your blood, same as flowing in their blood. At the end of the day, said person used a fake or dummy Forex account with fake $50,000 to rob me of collateral of equivalent amount. And at the end of the day, there was nothing I could do. There were things I could do, but it would not go well for either of us. So the best thing to do or to have done was to take the high road, put in the work, and recover. And that's exactly what I did. I let it die, left it alone. And I got to work. So that's how the multimillionaire scammed me of $50,000, right? And the funny thing was that eventually, said person experienced huge sprout or growth or something like that based on their explanation from crypto investments and other investments and stuff like that. But why they wanted my little money was what I could never comprehend until today. I bet the said person still thinks I harbor some kind of hard feelings towards them. I don't. I was just disappointed that someone that I thought so highly of stooped so low. You know, it's disappointing when people you think very highly of stoop so low. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, dislike, share this with your friends. Make sure that when you're dealing with very rich people, multimillionaires, and said people, and people that you really cannot verify their wealth, that you use ironclad writing and put everything in writing and make sure you protect yourself, right? Do not refrain from suing people and doing whatever you have to do to recover your possession because not everybody has the kind of tolerance that I have for risk, loss, and so on. Because there's some people he or she might have done that to, and it would not go so well for either of them, or someone will end up in jail, someone will end up hurt. Because this is real world, this is real life. We're all adults, and things are different. When we're kids in the playground, you did something wrong to someone, you get kicked, you get smacked. That's about it. As adults, you do something bad to people, it gets real fatal real fast out here. Okay? So, guys, don't forget you need to move your car within the city. DM me. Leave a comment in the comment section. You need to move a car from state to state. I'm your guy. You need to buy a car from any of the national auctions, Copart, Maham, IAA. I'm your guy. Let me know what service you need. And even if you need tips on how to buy from IAA and some of the national auctions and how to basically identify good cars or good sellers and such stuff of that caliber, I'm the kind of guy to talk to because I'm well versed and experienced in this field. If you're also trying to go into the transportation business, I could give you some few pointers on how to make that business work. Okay? Thanks for watching.